When an experience is so powerful that it motivates people to change the whole pattern of their lives, we call that a breakthrough, or sometimes an epiphany. The value of an epiphany doesn't lie just in some new or exciting insight. You might be walking down the street and pass a stranger. Your eyes meet, and for some reason, there is a connection. It isn't sexual. It isn't necessarily romantic, or even a suspicion that this person could mean something in your life. Instead, the epiphany is that you are that stranger, that you are that stranger. Your experience merges with that of the other. Call this a feeling or thought, it doesn't matter which, it's the sudden expansion that counts, the expansion beyond the boundaries of the body and the mind, actually. You are flung outside your narrow boundaries, if only for a moment. And that makes all the difference. You have tasted a hidden dimension. Remember, we're talking about hidden dimensions. Compared to the habit of shutting yourself behind the walls of ego, this new dimension feels freer and lighter. You have a sense that your body can contain you no more, that your body is not who you are, that you're not squeezed into the volume of a body or the span of a lifetime. Another example, when you watch a young child who's playing with complete focus and yet totally carefree, it's hard not to feel a tug. Doesn't the child's innocence seem palpable at that moment? Can't you feel in yourself or yearn to feel the same delight in play, in celebration, in joy? Doesn't the child's tiny body seem as fragile as a soap bubble and yet bursting with life itself, something immense, eternal, never to be defeated? In a fascinating ancient text called the Shiva Sutras, which dates back centuries in India, one can find similar epiphanies. Each one is a sudden glimpse of freedom in which the underlying experiencer is directly confronted without interference. One looks at a beautiful woman and suddenly one sees beauty itself. Or one looks at the sky and suddenly one sees an infinity beyond. So what are these experiences? These experiences are what we call experiences of unity consciousness, of being one with the source of all experience in existence, unity consciousness. And the traditional way to settle into this source, this presence, this self, which is beyond the mind, the traditional way has been through yoga. Now, of course, I should mention that in the next few months, we are going to be publishing this book, Living in the Light, Yoga for Self-Realization. And it's with my teacher, Sarah Platt-Finger. She's an amazing teacher. But what we do in this book is actually break down yoga into what is called Raj Yoga, or the Royal Yoga. And then, of course, there are other forms of yoga that we can talk about, the 4 paths to being one with Source. The 4 paths are as follows traditionally. Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti means devotion, and it is love. Love and devotion go together. Bhakti Yoga is devotion to the divine, but the divine is present in all existence. So it's devotion and love to all of existence without judgment. When love flows through you as the natural expression of being, that's called Bhakti Yoga. Yoga, of course, means union. My yoke is easy, my burden is light. Yuj, union. Okay, the second yoga is frequently referred to, or one of the other yogas, referred to as Gyan Yoga, the yoga of the intellect, using the intellect to correct the mistakes of the intellect. What is the mistake of the intellect? Well, mistake of the intellect is subject-object split. There's me and the rest of the universe instead of me being an expression entangled with the activity of the universe. Can I, through reflection, through inquiry, get to the place which is the source of all existence? And the answer is yes. And some of this is also the direct method where you question everyday reality and understand that everything that you experience that you call an object is actually an experience. And as experience, it is modalities of awareness. So that's called Gyan Yoga. Okay. The third yoga is Karma Yoga, selfless action, action with love and love in action, Karma Yoga. Using karma to go beyond karma is what we call love in action. And then this is the Royal Yoga. The Royal Yoga is Raj Yoga. And this has 8 limbs traditionally. And these are the 8 limbs of yoga as described by Patanjali. So the first 2 limbs are Yama and Niyama. And I can expand on that in the future. These are just simple guidelines for social intelligence and emotional intelligence. So Yama is social intelligence, Niyama is emotional intelligence. And then right after that, the physical postures, which are called yogasanas, which stimulate selectively the different branches of the vagus nerve to bring about self-regulation and healing. So that's yoga asana, which is the expertise of my co-author, Sarah. And then there's pranayam. Pranayam, now we're getting a little subtler, going beyond the physical postures to the interface between consciousness and the physical body. Breathing and controlling our breathing and influencing our breathing, regulating the autonomic nervous system just through breathing. All this is going to be in the book, by the way. Okay, so pranayam. Now we get even more subtle, pratyahara, withdrawal of the senses and then turning the senses inward for what is called interoceptive awareness. Instead of perception, which is directing the senses to perceptual activity, which we then call the physical, or we objectify it as the physical world and also the changing physical body. Pratyahara is actually directing, first withdrawing the senses and then directing attention and intention to interoceptive processes. What's happening in the viscera of your body, regulating, learning again to regulate the autonomic nervous system, both through breath, but also through attention and intention. You've heard the phrase, where attention goes, energy flows. But not only does energy flow, and that energy is called prana shakti in yoga, the shakti or the power of prana, vital energy, but intention transforming the activity in the direction of homeostasis, self-regulation, decreased inflammation, love, joy, compassion, empathy, equanimity. Loss of fear of death comes when you recognize that there's no such thing as a physical body. It's just an activity of your own consciousness. And there's a program. It's called a karmic program, a story, but you can transcend the story. So pratyahara, interoceptive awareness. We've covered 5 limbs of the Royal Yoga. And the last 3 are dharana, focused awareness, dhyan, meditation, samadhi, transcendence. Now you have the complete package, the 4 paths to freedom and creativity and going beyond the conditioned ego mind to find liberation from all suffering. So if you find this useful, I will continue. Thank you so much.